Hey, welcome back to another walkthrough. This week we're looking at Excel 8G income model. Let's begin. Go ahead and click on the assignment. And we'll download our materials. Once again, do not download all files. Click on each file individually. And let's go ahead and open up our student file. And make sure you hit Enable Editing. Alright, so for step number 2, on the projected income worksheet, we want to change the value in cell B15 to 6 and then hit enter. So let's go to B15 right here where it says 1. Let's go ahead and type in 6 and hit enter. Notice now that the sales indicate 276,806 and the gross profit and loss is 4,015. We're going to create a few scenarios that will allow us to break even within 6 months. So to do this, first you want to make sure that the solver and analysis tool pack are installed. So let's go to our file tab here. From our file tab, let's go down to options. Under options, let's go to add-ins, Excel add-ins, and hit go. Make sure you have a check mark next to Analysis Tool Pack and Solver Add-in and hit OK. And now we are ready to go. So very first thing that we want to do is change the value in cell B16. So let's go ahead and go to B16. Let's click on cell B16 and we want to change the value to 11%. So type in 11% and hit enter. Let's go ahead and open our solver. So we're going to come up to our data tab. Under the analyze group, we're going to click on solver. We're going to set the objective cell to B20. So type in B20 and we're going to make this an absolute cell reference. So B20, hit the F4 key, make it an absolute cell reference. Or you can put the $ before and after the B. We're going to set it to a value of 0. And we're going to do it by changing cells B16, hit the F4 key to make it an absolute cell reference, comma, B18, hit the F4 key, make it an absolute cell reference. If need be, you can put the $ before and after the B in both cells. Let's go ahead and hit the solve button. And we're going to save this scenario. So let's hit save scenario. And this is going to be 11% growth. We type in 11% and make sure you do capital G for growth. Go ahead and hit OK. Very important, make sure you put the dot next to restore original values. And also put a check mark next to return to solver parameters dialog. And hit OK. So now we want to add a constraint. So we're going to go ahead and hit add. Cell reference of B16 is going to be less than or equal to 10%. Let's type in 10%. Go ahead and hit OK. So percent growth less than or equal to 10%. Go ahead and hit solve. Let's save this scenario. And this time we're going to name it 10% growth. Make sure you capitalize the G. And hit OK. Make sure you restore original values. Hit OK. We want to delete the existing constraint. So let's go ahead and click on this constraint here. Let's delete it. Let's go ahead and add another one. This one we want to do B18. B18 is equal 85%. And hit OK and solve. Let's go ahead and save this scenario as 85% cost. And hit OK. We're going to return to the solver. We're going to uncheck this, and we're going to make sure we restore original values and hit OK. So there we have it. We have now created our 3 different scenarios. Now we want to click on our data tab and go to our forecast grouping and hit what if analysis. And let's look at our scenario manager. We should see our 3 scenarios. Let's go ahead and do a summary. And we're going to input that summary in cell B20. Go ahead and hit OK. So right here are our 3 scenarios in which we can break even, either with 11% growth and 86% cost related to sales, 10% growth with 86% sales, and 9% growth with 85% cost related to sales. Let's go ahead and go back to our projected income worksheet. Let's change our values of months back to 1. And let's go ahead and change percent growth back to 10%. So now we are on step number 7. It wants us to go to the projected income worksheet, which we are there. Now we want to create a line chart using the non-continuous ranges A2 to M3 and A8 to M8. So to do that, we're going to highlight, find A2, right here, A2, all the way over to M3. So A2 to M3. Hold down the control key and highlight A8 to M8. So you want to have A2 to M3, A8 to M8. And we're going to go to our Insert tab and click on our line chart, this icon right here. And we want to do just a line chart right here. I'm going to go ahead and click on that. And here it is. This is what our line chart should look like. And what this right here shows is our break-even point. So it wants us to change our chart title to expected break-even point. So I'm going to click on the title once, click on the title twice, use my arrow keys to delete it. Type in expected break dash even point. Make sure you capitalize all the first letters of each word. Now we want to position the chart so that the left corner is aligned with the left corner of B2. So it would be B22. So I'm going to click right here. See how I get the 4 arrows pointing away from each other? I'm going to click hold, and I'm going to drag it inside B22 right here. And I want to click on cell A1 to deselect my chart. So now we have the analysis tool pack added in. We want to display the sales worksheet. In the sales worksheet, we want to create a moving average using the sales B2 to B49. So let's go ahead and go to our data tab. Under our data tab, let's go ahead and click on our data analysis button under analyze. We're going to select a moving average, hit OK. The input range is going to be B2 colon B49. 7 is going to be the interval. And C3 is going to be the output range. C3 is the output range. And we want to make sure that we have labels in first row checkmarked. And we also want to have chart output checkmarked. And go ahead and hit OK. And notice that it'll put a chart in here and it will put in our moving average. Step number 10 wants us to select the chart. So let's go ahead and select the chart, and it wants us to move it to a new sheet. So let's go ahead and click on our chart design tab right here. Click on move chart, to a new worksheet. We're going to name that sheet Sales Trend Chart. All caps, or caps for S, T, and C. And go ahead and hit OK. And here it is. Here is our moving average. It wants us to click on the horizontal axis. So we're going to go ahead and click on our horizontal axis down here. And it wants us to display the selected data source. So I'm going to come up here to my chart design under my select data. When I click on select data, right here under my horizontal axis, I'm going to hit edit. From edit, I'm going to have this axis label range. I'm going to go ahead and click on the sales worksheet. And I'm going to highlight A9 all the way down to A49. Once I do that, you'll see equal sales. And then with some different punctuations, you'll see an exclamation point, $, A9, and to A49. Go ahead and hit OK. Notice how it puts dates in here. And now we have dates at the bottom. Let's go ahead and hit OK. We now need to change these to a different format. So let's go ahead and right click on our dates here and hit Format Axis. It will bring over our Format Axis sidebar here. Let's go ahead and click under the number grouping here and change our type. Let's click the down arrow next to type, and we want to change it to 3/14. Notice how it changes it for us. For step number 12, we need to change this data point label to date. So let's go ahead and click on the date. Let's click on data point. Go ahead and click on it again, put our cursor in there, and let's go ahead and type in date. Once we have date, go ahead and click off of our somewhere here in our blank area to deselect it. Now that we formatted our horizontal axis, we need to format our vertical axis. Let's go ahead and right click on our vertical axis and hit Format Axis. Notice that the Format Axis dialog box or sidebar will pop up. We want to change our minimum to 4,000 and hit enter. Notice that'll bring 4,000 down here and it'll make everything look a little bit bigger. Let's go ahead and click outside of our sheet over here. Let's click on the page layout tab. Then we'll click on this little guy under next to page setup, our page setup dialog box. We'll click on header footer, custom footer, and we will insert a custom footer in the left section with the file name right here, this icon. Go ahead and hit OK and hit OK. So now we want to go to the schedules worksheet. On the schedules worksheet, we want to do several different formulas. The first one is in cell F3, so let's go ahead and click in cell F3. We want to create a formula that is a COUNTIFs function to count the number of day shifts each server has scheduled to work. So first thing, let's go up here to our FX button right here. Let's go ahead and search for a COUNTIFs and hit go. There it is, COUNTIFs. I'm going to hit OK. Our criteria range is going to be a named range called server. Notice if you type in server, you get the server names over here. The criteria is going to be whatever is in E3. Notice that we have a server's name, Alicia, in E3. So criteria is E3. The second criteria range is going to be shift, because we are looking for what shift they're working. And the criteria here is going to be, in quotation marks, day, and close quotation marks. And go ahead and hit OK. So it looks like Alicia works 5 day shifts. Let's go ahead and copy this formula down. Remember, hover over this little dot right here in the bottom right hand corner of that box. Click, hold, and drag it down. And it will put down how many days each day shift these servers have worked. All right, so now in cell I3, we want to put in a formula, an AND function that will determine which servers are scheduled for between 2 and 5 shifts. So once again, go to our FX button up here. This time we're going to search for an AND function. So AND, and hit go. Here it is, AND function. We're going to hit OK. The logical test is going to be F3, because F3 is the number of day shifts. So F3 is greater than or equal to 2, because we want to know if they're working between 2 and 5. Our second logical test is going to be F3 less than or equal to 5. So this will give me all of the all the servers that are working between 2 and 5 shifts. So I'm going to go ahead and hit OK. And notice that it's true. This particular Alicia, she is working 5 shifts. That's between 2 and 5. And I'm going to copy this formula down. So I'm going to hover over this dot here in the corner, click drag it down. Notice that Artie only works 1 shift, so it's false. He does not work 2 to 5 shifts. So our next formula is going to be in cell J3. And this is going to be a countifs function again. But we're going to do 2 countifs functions. We're actually going to add 2 countifs functions in this particular. So we're going to add 2 formulas together. So to do this, let's go ahead and hit our FX button here. We're going to go ahead and click on our countifs and hit OK. So our first criteria range is going to be server. And that server is going to be found in H3. So our criteria 1 is going to be H3. Our criteria range 2 is going to be day, because we're looking for what day they are working, whether it's a Monday, Tuesday, all the way to Sunday. And our criteria 2 range is going to be in quotation marks, MON, close quotation marks. So we're looking for Mondays. And go ahead and hit OK. So as of right now, this server is not working at all on a Monday. But we need to find out if they're working on a Monday or a Tuesday. So let's go ahead and come up here to our countifs function on our toolbar in cell J3. Let's go ahead and click on our formula bar, and let's hit the plus sign. After you hit the plus sign, let's go ahead and hit the FX button again. And we're going to do a countifs function again and hit OK. This time it's going to be pretty much the same, except we're going to substitute Monday for Tuesday. So we're going to type in server here. Criteria range again is going to be H3. Criteria range 2 is going to be day. And the criteria this time is going to be TUE in quotation marks. TUE in quotation marks, because we're looking for Tuesdays. And this person happens to be working 1 Tuesday. So we're going to go ahead and hit OK. And now we can find out that Alicia is working 1 Monday or Tuesday. Now we want to copy this down, so let's go ahead and hover over this dot, click, hold, and drag it down. And it will give us how many days each one of these servers are working either on a Monday or a Tuesday. So our last function is going to be in cell K3. And here we're going to do an if function with a nested AND function. So to do this, we're going to come up to our FX button here. From our FX button, we're going to find our if function and hit OK. So our first logical test is going to be our nested AND function, because we need to find 2 different criteria. So our logical test is going to be AND. So we're going to type out our formula AND. Open our parentheses. We're going to type in I3 because we're looking for if I3 here is true, comma, J3 is greater than or equal to 1. And then close your parentheses. So our logical test is and, open parentheses, I3, comma, J3 greater than or equal to 1. If that is going to be true, then we want to type in the word eligible. So in quotation marks and with a capital E, eligible. Close your quotation marks. And then in our value if false, we want it to bring back a blank value. So just go ahead and open quotation marks and close quotation marks. And there we have it. There is our logical test. Let's go ahead and hit OK. And notice this person is eligible because they are working between 2 and 5 shifts, and one of those shifts is on a Monday or a Tuesday. So now let's go ahead and copy this formula down. So let's click on K3, hover over that dot, click hold, and drag it down. And notice how many people are eligible. So now we want to click on the Services Awards for number 17. And we want to fill out a formula that will show how much award is paid to each of our different servers. And we want to use an ifs function to complete this. So let's go ahead and click on cell C3, hit the FX button up here. We're going to do an ifs function and hit OK. So our first logical test is going to be B3 is greater than or equal to 30, because we want to know that if they get comments over 30, they get a bonus of $75. So if true, we're going to put in quotation marks $75 and then close your quotation marks. Our second logical test, because if they get 25 comments, they earn a $50 bonus. So we're going to go ahead and do B3 is greater than or equal to 25. And if that is the case, they are going to get a bonus of, in quotation marks, $50. Close your quotation marks. Then last, our third logical test, any comments over 20 earn a bonus of $25. So I want to go ahead and if B3 is greater than 20, and if that is true, then they are going to get, in quotation marks, $25. So there we have it. So if they get 30 comments, they get 75. If they get 25, they get 50. If they get over 20, they get, if they get over 25, they get a $50 bonus. And if they get over 20 comments, they get $25. And if they get less than 20, they get nothing. So our next logical test is B3 is less than 20. If that value is true, then they'll get nothing. So open quotation marks, close quotation marks. Go ahead and modify our logical test 3, B3 greater than or equal to 20. Now let's go ahead and hit OK. And there's no award that's paid out here because they did not get 18 customer comments. So let's go ahead and copy this down. And notice when you copy it down, this person has 32 comments, so they got $75, and all the criteria are met. All right, so we want to make sure that all of our worksheets are in the proper order and named correctly, which it looks like they are. I'm going to go ahead and click on my scenario summary. I'm going to go ahead and save my file. I'm going to minimize it. I'm going to go ahead and come back here to my starting materials, close out of that, choose file. Under my downloads folder, here it is, my income model. Hit open, upload, and submit for grading. And I'm going to go ahead and close out of the assignment. Let's see how I did. I'm going to click on my 3 dots here, view submissions. And it looks like I got a 99.6%. I'm happy with that, but I'm kind of curious to what my 1.1% was. So I'm going to click on it, scroll down, and here it is. It looks like I did something wrong on step number 17. And it looks like I did something wrong with one of the formulas, but once again, it was such a minute detail, I'm not going to worry about it. Well, this concludes the 8G walkthrough. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to contact me. And like always, have a wonderful day.